वीडियो भी ऑन करना है। हाँ सबसे पहले
Good afternoon, everyone. Sir, shall we start?
Please start, madam. Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Hema Sharma from the board. Everyone. Sir, shall we start?
Yeah, madam. Please.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Dr. Hema Sharma from Board of Ayurveda. On behalf of Board of Ayurveda, I extend a warm welcome to all the participants joining us for this faculty development program, which shall be for 3 days starting from today. That is 1st July 2026 to 3rd July 2026 in online mode, and participants have also access via YouTube. As you all know, we have gathered here today with the aim of strengthening the capacity of Ayurveda postgraduate teachers, guides, PG scholars to translate curriculum objectives into measurable educational outcomes and to foster excellence in postgraduate education. So, I would like to welcome all the eminent personalities who have joined this faculty development program. Now, we are honored to have with us Dr. Atul Babu Vashne, Member Board of Ayurveda. Welcome, sir. Dr. Kamlesh Kumar Dwivedi, Member Board of Ayurveda. Welcome, sir. Let us also welcome to organizing committee, that is Dr. S.A. Patil, Dr. Kiran Tavlare, and Dr. P.S. Baggi, whose hard work and dedication have made this program possible. A warm welcome to our today esteemed speakers, Dr. C. Suresh Kumar, Dr. Anand Katti, and Dr. Narendra Singh, who will be sharing their valuable knowledge and insights through their lectures, making this program both enriching and meaningful. I also welcome Dr. Anita as today's program moderator. Welcome to one and all here. So let us begin this program with introductory note by Dr. Atul Babu Vashne, Member Board of Ayurveda, NCISM. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Hema. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Respected dignitaries present here, esteemed members of the NCSM, distinguished speakers, learned faculty members, and all the scholars from across the nation. A very warm and grand morning to each and every one of the you. It is my absolute privilege and honor to welcome you all the inauguration of Pragati, the faculty development program dedicated to postgraduate reorientation for Ayurveda guided in advanced teaching and curriculum implementation. Organized under the visionary aegis of the Board of Ayurveda NCSM Ministry of Ayush Government of India. This program marks a monumental milestone in our collective journey towards educational excellence. As the name itself implies, Pragati stands for progress. Today, progress in Indian system of medicine demands that we harmonize our rich traditional wisdom with the most contemporary pedagogical frameworks. The primary objective of this FDP is to facilitate a seamless, uniform, and effective implementation of the newly introduced outcome based dynamic curriculum and the semester wise post graduation curriculum across the all Ayurveda institution nationwide. The world of Ayurveda is deeply committed to ensuring that this curriculum is adopted not just in letter but in its true academic spirit. This requires utmost academic rigor, unwavering consistency, and a year-round commitment from every institution, guide, and educator. Through this FDP, we aim to significantly enhance our academic capacities, deeply understand the nuances of expected learning outcomes, master competency-based educational approaches, and integrate robust assessment methodologies and entrustable professional activities into our everyday teaching. To our dear teachers and guide, you are the torchbearer of this transformation. Your role is pivotal in shaping the researchers, clinicians, and academicians of tomorrow. And to our PG scholars, the dynamic curriculum is designed to empower you with global competencies while keeping roots firmly grounded in our heritage. I am confident that this collective will spark stimulating discussions, clear lingering ambiguities, and pave a definitive roadmap for the future of Ayush education. Once again, I welcome you all to Pragati. Let us collaborate, learn, and lead this transformative era together. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Ayush. Over to you, Dr. Hema. Dr. Hema.
Hello.
Huh.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, I respectfully hand over the mic to our organizing team member, Dr. S.A. Patil, who will conduct the remaining proceedings of the program. Now, session is yours, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Very good afternoon to everyone. Respected Honorable Chairman of NCISM, Dr. Manisha Kotekar, madam. Honorable President of BOA, Dr. Allam Prabhu Gudda, sir. Dr. Hema Sharma, madam. Consultant BOA NCISM New Delhi. And all the respected resource person and all the members and Dr. Atul sir and Kamlesh sir. Now it is a time to request our first resource person, Dr. Suresh Kumar C. sir. I request Dr. Suresh Kumar C. sir to present after the introductory speech and brief CV by Dr. Anita madam. I request Dr. Anita madam to brief the CV of Dr. Suresh Kumar sir. Later on, I request Dr. Suresh Kumar to proceed for the further. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I wish you all a very happy Doctor's Day. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Dr. C. Suresh Kumar, sir. Sir is experienced Ayurvedic professional and professor of Shalyatantra at Pankaja Kasturi Ayurveda Medical College, Kerala. Sir is an eminent Ayurvedic academician, researcher, and clinician with over 161 national and international paper presentations, specializing in Ayurvedic orthopedics, Marma Chikitsa, and sports medicine. Sir is recognized at the highest level. Recent accolades includes the Best Teacher Award by the National Sushruta Association, Vamsha Vaidya Award, Bishak Pratibha Award, Best Clinician Award, Dr. B. Vaidyanandan Memorial Award, and many more. Sir is an active member of AMAI, advisor to the Travancore Kochi Medical Council, expert group member in Marma Chikitsa for the CCRAS. Sir is president of the Center for Innovation in Science and Social Action and former specialist medical officer. Sir is co-investigator for the ICMR funded research project. Sir is also institutional ethics committee member across medical institutions. Sir has built a strong clinical foundation over 100-bedded hospital early in his career under the mentorship of his father, Dr. K.A. Chandrasekharan Nayyar. I welcome you, sir, for today's event. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, madam. I respectfully and wholeheartedly request Dr. Suresh Kumar sir to start with the first topic, that understanding the philosophy and the framework of OBDC. I request you, sir, to proceed. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
और म्यूट, अगर म्यूट नहीं करेंगे तो हम हैं?
Okay, madam. Now 1 minute. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, unmuted, sir. Now you start, sir. Start, please. Yeah, sir. Suresh, sir, please proceed. Suresh, sir, not audible. Please, can you? Sir, unmuted, sir. No, sir. No. Okay. Just I will connect. Hold on, sir. Hold. Just.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it's on mute.
Audible.
Yeah.
Please, sir. Okay.
So we'll start.
Yeah, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think, yeah. Share. Is it visible, sir?
Yeah, sir. Yeah, visible, sir.
Most respected Dr. Alam Prabhu, sir, President, Board of Ayurveda and CSM, other senior faculty members, Dr. Ardul Babu, sir, who just now spoke, Dr. Kamlesh Kumar, Dr. Patil, sir, my dear teachers, senior faculty members. It is indeed a great fortunate for me to give a presentation on such a huge audience where I can see more than 6,000 people have already participating and so many in the YouTube also. It is very fortunate to be a part of Pragati, that faculty development program. And I was also a part of Shailendra, that program where we developed the syllabus also. I congratulate the whole group of people who envisaged and contemplated to do a session like this. We have done a similar session last year also, and it was wholeheartedly received. Today, my aim is to give a exposure on understanding the philosophy and framework of OBDC. I hope you all know what is the meaning of this, and outcome-based dynamic curriculum. So I might be speaking about the philosophy, first thing, second, the framework, then outcome-based and dynamic and curriculum. What is outcome and what is dynamic curriculum and what is per se curriculum is. The question we begin with is, what is the difference between a syllabus and a curriculum? We all think both are same, but it has some difference. See, the syllabus is what that is being taught. Curriculum is what we expect students to become. I hope that you understood the difference. The question of syllabus and curriculum is, we will be able to appreciate his growth only through a curriculum. For example, basically you think about CBSE, it's a curriculum, but Max is a syllabus. That is the difference between this. So we want our students to become better than us. So that is why we are changing the syllabus into a curriculum. That is what I want. And for a curriculum, we have a course learning session, then a program learning outcomes, competency, and we have mapped assessment also. So the word curriculum or distinction is not very much semantic, but defines the entire logic of implementation. This is the first thing I want to emphasize. Second, I told you I will talk to you about the core philosophy and also framework. So, what is competency-based dynamic curriculum? So, this means a mere academic knowledge alone is not going to be appreciated hereafter. He should be clinically and experientially knowledge of the person who studies is also equally important. It aims at overall development of skill, attitude, professionalism, etc. For that, we have to prioritize, and that is what this curriculum is going to do. We should have a robust theoretical knowledge, early diagnosis and clinical exposure, structured hands-on training on both clinical and surgical procedures, mastery in techniques of surgical and parasurgical techniques. I tell you, I being a Shalya person, my concept, and I'm talking only with a Shalya background. So that is equivalent to all other branches also. But I'm talking about, if I talk on example, I talk about Marma or Bandha, etc. That is what I want to tell you. Then, what is outcome-based and what is competency-based? This I will explain with the help of a example of Kshatra Sutra. For outcome-based, we have to teach the definition of Kshatra Sutra and describe the indications, list the materials used, and explain the procedures. But when it comes to competency-based, it is selection of the appropriate patient, counseling and obtain the consent, prepare the Kshatra Sutra correctly, perform the procedure safely, manage the follow-ups, how to deal with complications, and most importantly, this is to maintain a proper documentation and communication. So, in other words, one seems to be an application of the other. That is why I said the line of demarcation is very, very thin. So, what is the anticipated outcome of this? See, by the end of this course, the PG scholar should be competent and confident to face any situations because we don't know. We don't know what is going to happen. A patient whom you think it is very, very easy might turn into be a complication one. And the person who is going to be very difficult will become a very simple case for you. So we should be able to face all the situations and we should be equipped enough. So the main aim of this curriculum is to make you well equipped. For that, a modern training method is also needed. Ayurvedic knowledge, thorough Ayurvedic knowledge is needed. Plus, you should be clinically proficient, research oriented, ethically grounded. You should foster critical thinking, innovation, and compassionate care. So, knowledge along with the critical thing is the first thing you should gain through this curriculum, to this changing world. So, why we need a new curriculum? That is another question because we are all learned the old curriculum and what is going to be new in this curriculum. See, this curriculum is not a content revision. I tell you, this is not a content revision of the previous syllabus. Rather, it is a pedagogical shift. I mean to say that this stands true to all subspecialties of Ayurveda. There is an addition of newer knowledge while modifying the present knowledge. See, now you can see IFTAC technique in Kshara Sutra. The newer knowledge has come and that has to be trained to our students. So the newer curriculum aims for newer world where information is at your fingertips and development of newer disciplines are faster than a blink of an eye. So the aim of this is to be abreast with the new generation. That is why a new curriculum has been developed. Now coming to the philosophy, the syllabus is based on Bloom's taxonomy. As you know, you can see from Remember to Create, it is a hierarchical framework established in 1956 and it was revised in 1990 to classify the education from basic to higher order and to infuse critical thinking. It starts from the very basic, remember, and ends into create. So, basic knowledge means, for example, if you want to teach bandage, bandha, the basic knowledge is to have a basic idea about bandage. Then we have to understand means we have to classify the bandages. Application means to apply on real life situations. To analyze means to try and different types of bandaging techniques, different types of cloths, etc. Even our PG students, so many people are taking this as their research subject. And then evaluate. Evaluate means try different types of bandages, where to do, how to do, and which bandage suits the other, etc. And create means have some innovative techniques. So this is what Bloom taxonomy has been envisaging. While going through the Bloom taxonomy, I understand that this is just an explanation of what Charaka in his Vimanasthana has told. Siddhando nama yo parikshager bahuvidam pariksha hedubhischa sadhaitva sthapayedannaya. I hope you all know the meaning. It says that anything can be called as Siddhanta only when it is being tested by different pariksha or method of examination and established by different hetus. Our method of high order critical thinking is being fostered here. It is only very evident that Yukti plays a very important role in this. See, the whole world, it has reached a full circle. What Sushruta has told, and now it is coming in a newer wine in a newer bottle, old wine in newer bottle. So we have reached a full circle. And Secondly, you have heard as an Ayurvedic people, we have heard about Trimarma concept where Shira, Hridaya, and Vasti. So here, any knowledge, we have to have a cognitive domain which we think with head and intellect. And we have emotional branch which we term it as heart. And next is hand or psychomotive. So instead of Vasti, we think we have hand or psychomotive. It is otherwise known as Vada, Pitta, and Kapha. Vada as the head, Pitta as a heart, Kapha as the head, Pitta as a heart, and hand as our Vada. Then comes Trayobastamba. Even though the core syllabus can be understood in 6 tables, the essence can be reduced in 3 pillars. Trayobastamba. And just like Triguna, Tridosha, we have Trayobastamba here in our syllabus also. What is that? Pillar number 1. Pillar number 1 says that it is competency over the content. For a PG scholar, content is a vehicle and competency is the destination. We should be competent enough to face the new issues of the world. For that, we have course outcome 1, 2, 3 to 8. And first, for a Shalya person, apply core principles of Shalyarandra, integrating recent advances. And then when to come to 4, identify and manage surgical conditions through conservative and operative, because in certain areas we can go for conservative areas also. And then we should demonstrate professionalism and uphold surgical ethics with medico-legal accountability. And when you come in the last, exhibit sound, timely clinical decision making an emergency surgical condition. So I repeat once again, content is the vehicle and competency is the destination. And throughout the syllabus, the pillar 2 says that the ratio is 1:2:3. That means 1 hour lecture, 2 hours practicals, and 3 hour experiential learning. That is hold throughout the syllabus, in all syllabus. 1 hour lecture means the students have to know. And then it starts having a know-how, practical, and shows how. And finally, in experiential learning, the student does the thing. So this is the procedure of adopted in the whole syllabus. The framework is scientifically structured to make a competent doctor than a content-loaded mule. That is the thing which I say you. It is scientifically designed to make a person a competent doctor rather than a content-loaded mule. For example, a PG Shalyarandra scholar is expected to apply the core principles of Shalyarandra and integrate the recent advances, and identify and manage surgical conditions. So this is what he is expected to do. Any topic in the curriculum, unless you perform, you won't be able to repeat it, because once you have studied and you are not performing, then what happens? You literally forget this. So the science or during the PG time, you are asked to perform yourself. So students are asked to perform. So it is a skill upscaling rather than the theory alone. That is what it is being done. Once you start doing cognition, and it will become a behavior, and it will be a part of your culture. So what happens? Whatever you do will be true and correct. So that is why this is emphasizing is so much over this. Then comes pillar number 3. Pillar number 3 says, I told you I'll talk to you about dynamic. What is dynamic? Why dynamic? A dynamic means living or adaptable to change. Anything that is static is prone to stagnation. as a doctor, there is no end in learning. I have one of my teachers who is 95, 96 years old. He has written so many books on medicine. Last week, I met him and I saw him reading one journal at the age of 92. So it is a unending process and constant updation is needed. So you always think that it is not a fixed script. Faculties are not executors of determined lesson plan. Each and every time they are changing. And with this, their teaching method, case selection, etc., and experiential activity are all contextualized depending upon the institutional resource, patient load, and the time available, or it is variable. For example, for Yoga Sutriya, those who have lab can do it. For others, they can do it in vegetables, etc. For some more people who have enough load, they can do it in the patients also. And likewise, there is dynamic assessment. You know that MGP means modular grade points. It is not marks alone. It is both attendance and also calculate with the marks. What is the benefit? Because engagement to the subject is also being assessed. Engagement is equally assessed with marks. This is in fact the core essence of the syllabus. Unless you get a minimum of 60% of or above in the average of this, then only you can go for summative assessment. Summative assessment means it is university exam. So we have completed this and we are going for the framework. As you all know, earlier our syllabus had 8 modules. Each 8 modules, one module has 2 credits, total 16 credits. National learning hours was 480. And this and all you all know, formative mark will be 50. And the newer syllabus has 32 modules, 2 credits, 64 credits. National learning hours is 1,920. And the formative assessment mark of each module is 50 marks. Now, as I told you, there are 6 layers and 3 operating tables. The table 1 meant for this course outcome. You all know CO, etc. Table 2, which details about the modules, credits, notional learning. Table 3, sessions, learning objectives, domain level, etc. Table 4, practical. Table 5, exponential. Table 6, assessment. So of this, 1, 3, and 6 are the thing which we have greatly involved. Table 1, you all know. You can see on the right side, CO1, CO2, it's a previous this thing. And it's a course learning outcomes and a map with program learning outcomes. And on the right side, you can see PO1 also. That means program learning outcomes. Then table 2, course content, modules, credits, national learning hours. Each module has a title and its description to understand the topics include. It included topics are systematically divided under units. Classes are theory, practical, experiential, which I have told you 1:2:3 ratio. Theory means through lectures, books, discussions. Practicals means theoretical knowledge through structured activities at the lab work, simulations, skill demonstration, and where teacher demonstrates and students observe. Example, assisting a surgical procedure with a teacher. Experiential, hands-on experience where the students perform, where teacher observe and assess performance. Example, performing a surgical procedure under the supervision of the teacher. This is another example for table 2. Here it says that in bandaging, the module aimed to equip students with foundational knowledge and practical skills in conducting pre-operative, operative, and post-op. Like that it goes. So much details it is told that how many hours you should teach, what are the things, etc. It's totally been told. And you can see in M7, U4, Bandhavidi, types of bandages, etc. Like that, everything has been detailed. And you can see table 3, Here also, notional learning hour, lecture, domain, and etc. So once you start concentrating in each and everything, we will be able to have a thorough knowledge about what should be taught, what should not be taught, what need not be taught, not should not, need not be taught. So I am talking about the Bandhana Vidhi and what are the way it should be taught and what are the guided response, etc. I will try to demystify one of the areas of table 3. See, table 3, M9U3. It says that case taking in musculoskeletal injuries. And you can see course outcome is CO1 and CO4. Domain is PSY GUD. That means it's a guided, what's known as psychomotor guided response. And it shows that RLEDBED, that means bedside demonstration. So this curriculum has already specified that this unit must be taught at the bedside and not in the lecture hall. In so much detail, we have, means the whole committee has come into in detail about regarding each and every topic. And what are the practical activities that we are doing earlier also? It's certain things, demonstration by the teacher, identification of bandha, demonstration by means everything in detail has been told in our curriculum. Then experiential learning, it has a stronger understanding, demonstrating of the bandaging technique as per Ayurveda, and hands-on training. The students has to do this and perform in the other patients also. This is experiential learning. So coming to assessment, as you know, there are two types of assessment, summative and formative. Summative means it is a total summing up of, it is a university exam. For formative, we have modular grade points. It is calculated on hours attended into marks obtained. Both engagement and achievement are measured. And SGPA means minimum 60% of total semester grade points is required to proceed for the summative. That means if you want to write, then we have to have a 60% of attendance also. And what is in for summative also, we have application-based question ABQ20 and short answer question 8 into 5, long answer question 4 into 10. Practicals, see, we have equal importance in the practicals. 400 marks for written and 400 marks for the practicals. That is how it is envisaged. Then, as I told you, there are different ways of formative assessment. It need not be question and answers. It can be a role play, open textbook, Viva, DOPS, OSP, which I'll talk to you in next 2 slides, or any practical or experiential learning activity can be assessed. This is how formative assessment is being told. And modular assessment also, where conventional assessment were not recommended to test all domains of the scholar. Even you can see how he performs, how he behaves with the patients, how in a crucial condition whether he is getting, all these can be tested and we can assess through modular assessment. Then comes direct observation and procedure skills. Real-time observation and assessment of clinical procedure. You can have a feedback loop, evaluate procedural competencies, document clinical progress. This is called DOPS, direct observation of procedure skills. Once you train them and you ask them to do it, next time when he does, if he's still getting into trouble, then also we have to assess that procedure skill. Then OSPE and OSCE. OSPE means access practical skills and OSCE means assess clinical skills. Objective, structured, practical examination. OSCE means objective, structured, clinical examination. You might sing very jargons of these words, but I tell you, once you start concentrating, it looks like very easy. Then credit and grade point is MGP. That means we have discussed number of national learning hours attended or engaged in a module into marks obtained divided by number of national learning hours in the module into marks of the module into 100. This is how it is been. So it clearly says that it not only you get engaged, but you should have good marks, and this will give a better exposure to the student. That's why it has been credit and grading points have been done like that. Then this is also I've discussed semester evaluation method. We'll take an average of all these papers. And if it is more than 60 only, we can go for summative exams. This also we have discussed. Summative assessment means a sum total of the assessment. It is done on the final year and the first semester and after the final year. This university exam. And the papers you all know how it is designed. Theory 400, practical 400. ABQ, SAQ, LAQ. Teaching ability test, presentation skills, long case, etc. So all these are being tested in the SEM 6. And see, we have a blueprint of the questions, where to ask, what not to ask, etc. I'll tell you, this time we have certain areas where no questions need to ask. It has only been taught. It is just to make them aware that this is going on. So it is an 100 marks question, and application based one carries 20 mark, short answer 8 in number, long answer 4. And the first thing you should think is that there will be a single application based question, ABQ, worth 20 marks. No other questions should be asked from the same module where ABQ is framed. So much in detail it has been told. Now, I know it is confusing. It is hectic. And this is not what we have learned. We have learned in some other way. But I tell you, it is very easy. Only thing you have to do is we have to unlearn yourself. What you know, you just forget about this and try to relearn and grow. We need to be updated to new forms of learning while utilizing the age-old wisdom of Ayurveda. Only this way can innovative ideas stem up and make our science equipped to deal with today's problem. Survival depends upon the willingness to change and adapt. So we have different types of teaching program. Advanced teaching program should be prepared accordingly. Should cover all the aspects of table 2 and table 3 we have discussed. And it should be done LH, lecture hour, non-lecture and non-lecture practical. Timetable is prepared according to the total hours. And ATP encompasses all domains. Different types of domains are there. It encompasses all domains and should cover all teaching learning methods. As per the topic, choose the method. Here I am given you one sample of the timetable which it is done elsewhere. And here also another example of the timetable. Then there are different types of teaching learning methods. You all know it is there in the curriculum. And then flipped classroom. See, traditionally, the teacher will teach and the students will sit. Now it has come to a flip. The students' projects are given to them and they have to take classes, and the other students, including the teacher, will hear. And in case there is something wrong, the teacher should make them aware. So people get involved in teaching also. So that is called flipped classrooms. That is also been done. Then use of integration. See, this is a teamwork, and we should integrate different departments. Not only Shalyarandra, we have to go Kai Chilsa, Dravya Guna, or Gynec, whatever, all these has to be integrated before the students this knowledge has to be integrated. It need not be Ayurveda alone. Even modern medicine can also be integrated. That is the use and the importance of getting integrated. Then records, I need not tell you, logbook, etc. Then prepare lessons, plan lesson, what to teach, how to teach, relevance of the subject. It should be carefully planned. Ensure focused and structured method of learning. So coming to the last reference, you can see in reference 12730, and all this in detail has been told. And see, nowadays our Shalya curriculum is more than 700. I am told there are other curriculum which is more than 800 pages. So let us be happy to have a curriculum like this. There are many roadblocks while we travel. We need to overcome that. We are teaching the Gen Z students. They are moving through the curriculum. They are more thorough with the curriculum than ours. We might have spent hours teaching a topic. Little did we realize that no question need to be asked from that topic. It is just nice to know that. Be thorough with the topic and get yourself equipped on daily basis. Thank you. Thank you to all who have helped me to make a presentation like this. Thank you.
Thank you, respected Suresh Kumar sir. You are really a robust knowledge, I think you are given. If you know robust knowledge about theoretical things, we will understand the core principles. Then only we can integrate with the recent technology and other things we can manage better. Should be always dynamic. And sir has given elaborate about the framework, assessment, blueprints, DOPS, everything. I think we have all got the information completely, the understanding of the philosophy and framework of OBDC. Thank you, respected sir. If any queries, I request all the audience to respected teachers to share in the chat group. We will be discussed later, I think. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Namaste.
Hema madam. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hema madam, shall we
Yes.
proceed for the next presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Dr. Anand sir.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Yeah. I request, first of all, I welcome Dr. Anand Katti sir, Professor, Department of Basic Principles from JMC Bengaluru. I welcome you to this second session for the competencies, outcome and curriculum mapping topic. And I request Dr. Anita madam to brief the CV of Dr. Anand Katti sir, and later I request Anand sir to proceed for his topic. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Anita
you,
madam.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's my honor to introduce Dr. Anand Katti, sir, Professor and Head of the Department of Samhita Siddhanta at the Government Ayurveda Medical College in Bangalore. Sir has hold MD in Basic Principles and MSc in Clinical Nutrition and Diabetics. Sir currently serves as the Editor-in-Chief of the RGHS Journal of Ayush Science, holds multiple preclinical BOS membership, Kerala University Health Science Thrissur, Goa University, and coordinator NCISM PG syllabus framing. Sir is an accomplished academic and administrator. He served on multiple high-level committees, including the COVID-19 Technical Advisory Committee, and professionally, his administrative roles include serving as Assistant Registrar for RGHS Bangalore. Sir has published various articles in renowned journals, actively participate in collaborative research projects and funded researches. Sir has served as a resource person, chairperson in national and international conferences. Thank you, sir. I welcome you, sir, for today's event. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, madam, for the wonderful introduction. I request Dr. Anand Katti, sir. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Just I need a confirmation whether my screen is visible or not.
Visible, sir. Visible.
Okay. वागर्थाविव संपृक्तो वागर्थ प्रतिपत्तये जगतः वंदे पितरौ पार्वती परमेश्वरम. Very good afternoon to all of you. At the outset, I congratulate the Board of Ayurveda NCISM and acknowledge their initiative of conducting this orientation program for PG teachers and PG guide. I take the name of the chairperson, Dr. Manisha Madam, President Dr. Allama Prabhu Sir, members Dr. KK Dwivedi Sir, Dr. Atul Varshne Sir, and the organizing committee of this FDP, Dr. Siddhanagowda Patil Sir, Dr. Parmeshwarappa Byadgi Sir, Dr. Kiran Tavalare Sir, Hema, and others who have taken pain in organizing this activity. And I also acknowledge the fact that I've been given an opportunity to share share my comments on this topic. At the outset, I also was happy and delighted to know a framework and the philosophy has been shared by the previous speaker who has done a commendable job, and that makes my task relatively easier. And an overview of the curriculum has been provided to us, and I am here to pick certain aspect of the curriculum and spend time explaining those things. And therefore, my topic is competencies, outcomes, curriculum mapping. Now, one thing that I expect from the delegates is it's better if you hold a copy of curriculum with you so that when a certain table is mentioned, you just open up and have a glance that makes learning more effective, more better way. Now, going further, let's start with a scenario. Now, suppose if all of you are traveling from your place to New Delhi, and the pilot comes and makes some announcements. He says, I am a graduate of aeronautical engineering. I have studied aerodynamics thoroughly. I have read all the textbooks and all the recent published articles, and I have scored distinction in my all university exams. But today is my first flight. Now, will you be able to trust and fly? Certainly, a fear will come. Now, this is because maybe he has got a lot of knowledge, but is he competent? A question will come. And that's what is competence is all about. That's what we'll be talking about in today's session. Now, when we talk about competency, another question that I want to pose before you. Now, here, in the past, we had Gurukula type of education, and right now we are having classroom type of education. If I ask you which one represents the better education, most of you may be emotionally attached to our Indian system of medicine, our Indian heritage, our Indian culture, Indian education system would say that it is the Gurukula type. And those who have appreciated the classroom learning may say the second one. But what is the starking difference between them? Now, you can generally see the number of students are less on the left-hand side of the screen, whereas they are more on the right-hand side of the screen. And therefore, a teacher-student ratio becomes an important one. Here, a teacher is able to give a proper observation to each of the student. Teacher is going to train all practices to each of the student, and teacher is able to see whether the student is able to learn, and there will be proper mentorship. This is the difference between the what happened in the past and what is happening today. And therefore, when we talk about competency-based education, now competency-based medical education is not entirely new. It is bringing back many principles our Gurukula system had in the past itself. Now, there are some more phrases that come to my mind also, which also talk about the competencies itself. Just run through them. Jnana matrena na siddhihi abhyasena tu siddhyati. Knowledge alone doesn't bring success. Mastery comes through practice. Practice when you perform, when you do something, then only it becomes a practice. Now, one of the proverb that you see on the curriculum, on the book, syllabus book itself is Shastram Jyotihi Prakashartham Darshanam Buddhiratmanah, coming from Charaka Samhitas. Scriptures guide us, but unless that knowledge is translated into clinical judgment and action, it remains only light and not healing. Then, Shastradnyo api akarmakrit murkhaha. Even though someone knows the scriptures, he will be called as ignorant if he cannot perform the work. So therefore, it's all about performing. It's all about doing a task. It's all about doing something that makes someone as a competent. Vidya dadati vinayam vinayad yati patritam. Knowledge gives humility. Humility leads to competence and worthiness. So therefore, competency is the key or the buzzword in what we generally call as competency-based curriculum. Now, therefore, in today's generation, gone are the days when such questions were asked. In traditional education, we asked, has the student completed the syllabus? Syllabus completion was said to be an achievement during that time. But now, am I audible?
Yes, sir, audible, but PPT is not visible, sir.
Okay. Now, sir?
No, sir. No, sir. Not visible, sir. PPT is not visible, sir.
Just a minute, sir. How about now, sir?
No, sir. No, not yet.
Sir?
No, sir.
All is fine from my end.
Dr. Sharad, sir, please use, close your, stop your screen sharing, sir. Sharad, sir. I think
Who?
2 screens are shared.
Now then,
Hi, yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
from my
Thank you. Thank
end, all was fine.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, sir.
Now, sir?
Now, okay, sir. It is visible. Make it
Okay,
big
sides are
screen, sir.
moving also, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll start from where I stopped. Okay. The second sentence that I was making about is a student who scores 100 marks but cannot diagnose can be called as educated, but will not call him as a competent. So therefore, a student who safely diagnoses, communicates, decides, and treats is said to be competent. And our curriculum is not judged by what teachers teach, it is judged by what learners become. So therefore, in all of these induction sessions, we just emphasize the fact that it is the competency that matters in the entire curriculum, entire teaching learning process. So therefore, we'll be spending time in today's 30 to 40 minutes of deliberation on these three aspects. At the end of this session, we'll be sensitizing and reoriented the participants towards the competencies. What are they? What are the types and how they are to be framed? A gross overview of program learning outcome and course learning outcome has been provided, but we will be spending more time elaborating them. And we'll also talk about curriculum mapping, how these different aspects of curriculum are aligned with teaching learning experiences and with outcomes. So these are the three things that we'll be discussing in today's presentation. Now, before going further, I just thought, okay, we'll come to that aspect a bit later. Now, what is a competency? Now, this is because competency is an observable and measurable ability to integrate knowledge, skills, attitude, and values to perform a professional task safely, effectively, independently, and in real-world setting. Now, ironically, each word in this sentence carry a huge amount of value. Now, we know the fact that there are three domains of learning which are known as cognitive, psychomotor, and affective, which talk about knowledge, skills, and attitude, and all of them are integrative along with the kind of values, the efficiency, the ethics, the empathy that we carry. With this, we want to perform a task with minimal harm, with almost 100% safe, with 100% effective, and it has to happen in a real world setting. Not just because a teacher is guiding, a student is doing, will not call them as competent at that time. When he is able to perform a task independently, even when no one is observing him, guiding him, that's what we call him as a competent person. Now, for the ease of understanding, I'll take a simple example of competency. And this is what it looks like. Perform Dashavida Pariksha for a comprehensive patient assessment. Now, in this competency, we have knowledge where the student is able to have learned the Dashavida Pariksha and its all other aspects. And he is able to perform the Dashavida Pariksha, which we call as skills. And he has a certain attitude that he treat the patient respectively, he greets, he takes a consent, then he proceeds, which we call as attitude. And he has some values also. He upholds the ethics and maintain confidentiality, etc. So if all these are to club together, then we say that this can be one competency. Like that, in each of PG specialization, there will be many competencies that a teacher has to frame. Now, ironically, one has to remember that in the curriculum, everything is provided, but this aspect, what are the competencies that need to be instilled in each PG student is left or is to be decided by a teacher or a guide or a group of teacher or a PG department itself per se. Now, generally the characteristics of competency are, they are observable. For example, if someone is doing Dashavida Pariksha, someone should see it, a guide should see it and guide him when he is going wrong. It should be measurable. We talk in terms of percentages. We say 100% accuracy, we say 180% accuracy. Like that, the competencies are framed. It is integrative. I said integrative with reference to 3 domains of learning. And it is context specific. It is very specific to the context in which we are handling. And it is developmental. Developmental means today he is a beginner. At some stage, he will become an absolute expert. So these are the characters of any competency. Now, competencies in CBDC have got value. They are to be clearly described before the training begins. For example, a student has completed his first semester and he enters the core subjects in the second semester. Just at the beginning of the second semester, a student should be given a list of competencies that he is going to achieve by the end of 6th semester. So the competencies should be clearly described before the training begins. They are to be taught through aligned learning experiences. Learning experiences has been already mentioned, which are in the ratio of 1:2:3. There can be 1 lecture hour, there can be 2 hours of practical training and 3 hours of experiential learning. All of them are aligned so that the competencies are achieved. And whether the achievement of the competencies is happening or not, this is assessed using multiple methods over a period of time. It can be a classroom assessment. It can be a modular assessment. These are the 2 ways of conducting a formative assessment at the level of education. And these competencies are achieved through demonstrated performance rather than merely completing a specific duration of training. Now, teachers should know the fact that time has become insignificant. What we want to see in our student is a particular competency has to be achieved. Whether it requires more time, whether it requires less time, becomes insignificant at this point of time. So therefore, and also another character of a competencies are in CBDC, one competency may have competencies and achievement is demonstrated through performance rather than time spent. We will generally make some list of competencies so that it becomes understandable and everyone can appreciate it. Now, before coming to the domain, to the subject specific competencies, there are certain general competencies which we should know. And these can be patient care. Again, these are coming from the recent, these are coming basically from the competency-based medical education. The foundation of competency-based medical education has led to competency-based dynamic curriculum in the field of Ayurveda. So the core competencies in case of CBME are patient care, they are medical knowledge, practice-based learning, communication skills, professionalism, system-based practice. Now, system-based practice means I'm going to be an expert of Kaya Chikitsa. I should make a career in Kaya Chikitsa. I'll not be searching or entering into the other domain is generally what system-based practice is all about. So these have been listed as core competencies. And there are some more competencies before I come to the subject-specific competencies. These are called as behavioral and leadership competencies. Now, as a teacher of postgraduate students, we know the fact that the moment these students come to us, we start something called as samskara, a 3 credit induction program for PG curriculum. Most of these competencies are expected to be taught during the Samskara PG sessions, which are coming as accountability, that is taking responsibility. A student should be open to take responsibilities. Adaptability, he should embrace all the changes that are occurring, because it's already known the fact that it is dynamic curriculum. Dynamic curriculum makes the things very flexible. Today I have taught certain syllabus point, but the patient that has come belongs to the different disease. So I have to be flexible enough to bring that dynamism and give practical and experiential training as per the need and as per the situation that has arisen. There should be a control over the emotional aspect of one's hate, anger, all these are to be under control, which we call as emotional intelligence. Time management is very essential, because we all have got only 24 hours. We need to learn 100 things and we have to use the very same time. Therefore, time management is a skill, is a competency. Now, conflict resolution, strategic planning, decision making, resource management, and change management. These are some of the behavioral and leadership competencies that each of our PG students should have. Now, coming back to the technical competencies, which are specific to PG discipline, I have to bring before you that this work has been done by our own PG regulations. So let me share another file for you, because this is coming in the PG regulations, the subject specific competencies. I hope the new screen is also visible now. Now, these
Yes.
are the competencies with listed in the PG regulations, right? PG MES came in 2024 October, and which lists in the regulation itself, in the Gazette copy itself, these have been mentioned as competencies. Now, a Samhita Siddhanta postgraduate should be able to read and understand the Samhitas, should have the ability to apply Tantra Yuktis appropriately, should have the ability to understand and apply Anukta and Leshokta, should have the ability to understand commentaries and apply appropriately in understanding Samhitas, should have the ability to establish principles described in Samhitas, considering them as hypothesis, and generate a proof on the contemporary scientific lines, and he will serve as an specialist in critical appraisal of Samhita and its application in clinical practice. Like that, for all 18 PG specializations, the competencies have been listed in the Gazette copy. This is for the Ayurveda biology, this is for Rachana Sharira, this is for Kriya Sharira, this is for Dravyaguna Vijnana, this is Rasa Shastra, Roga Nidana, Agada. As I said, for example, let's have a glance at this Kaya Chikitsa. So at the end of post-graduation, a student should have the ability to diagnose clinically, should interpret and correlate diagnostic investigational reports and arrive to diagnosis and treatment, treat the patient accordingly, should have the ability to give appropriate treatment in acute and chronic clinical conditions, should have the ability to manage clinical conditions in general and referrals in particular. This is important because most of the PGs will be working at the secondary or the tertiary level of hospitals, and therefore it should be good enough to handle the referred cases. Ability to ascertain the fitness for Panchakarma, Shalya, Shalakya, Sriroga, Prasuti, Tantra procedures and give certificate. Now, the fitness is something that an expert of medicine should give for various Shalya, Shalakya procedures, Prasuti procedures, etc. Ability to advise appropriate investigations, biochemical, micrological, imaging techniques, biopsy, and the like for confirmation of the diagnosis for the benefit of patients. So these are the competencies that a postgraduate of Kaya Chikitsa should achieve by the end of his curriculum. And as I was mentioning, all these competencies have been mentioned, listed in our own PG regulation, which were published in 2024 October. Now, coming back to the main presentation. Okay, so just to give you a glance of, when I said those are the competencies that have been grossly listed, as a teacher, I cannot say that my student has understood entirely by looking at only one sentence. So I have to fragment those competencies into sub-competencies, and therefore these are some of the competencies that I can put before you as an example. Now, assess for Kaumara Bhritya, it can be assess newborns, provide Navajata Paricharya, recognize neonatal complications, and initiate appropriate management or referral. In case of Dravya Guna, it can be authenticate Guduchi using botanical and pharmacognostic characteristics. In case of Samhita Siddhanta, it can be apply Padartha Vijnana for philosophical analysis of Ayurveda concepts and research. In case of Kriya Sharira, I can say that interpret the physiological significance of Agni and correlate with the digestive and metabolic functions. Now, these are the examples of competencies. Now, as Suresh sir was mentioning, there are too many jargons here, too many technical terms are coming. So therefore, one has to have a clarity amongst all of them. So a competency is not a learning outcome. Learning outcome is describe what learner should achieve at the end of each session. Competencies are not program outcomes. Program is entire duration of 3 years. It is MD, MS Ayurveda. We have a list of 8 program outcomes. We will soon learn them. Course learning outcomes, a competency is not a course learning outcome because each course, now course here is each specialization. For example, MD Shalya, MS Shalya Tantra is a course. MD in Dravya Guna is a course, MD in Rasa Shastra is a course, MD in Rachana Sharira is a course, and each course have got their own course learning outcomes, which are available in their table number 1. Around 8 to 9 course learning outcomes have been listed, which are also not the competencies. Skills. Skill is a part of competency, and these competencies are achieved through interestable professional activities, which I'll not spend time because we have a dedicated session on that tomorrow. And milestones, because competency achievement doesn't happen in one day. It has to happen over a period of time, and there are certain milestones that need to be remembered, which we will list them soon. So therefore, these are the jargon that are coming as far as the new curriculum is concerned. And this is in brief about competency, and we'll spend 5 minutes at the end to how to learn how to frame a competency. Now, before going to the second part of my presentation, which is the program learning outcome, I just want to bring before you another important aspect of our framework of education, which is regarding the notional hours and how these have been distributed. Now, this slide, I hope, is visible to you. A postgraduate in Ayurveda is having 6 semesters. Each semester has got 750 notional learning hours. Notional learning hour is a tentative hour required for learning of a specific learning objective. Now, notional, what does notional mean? It approximately takes 60 minutes. For some students, it may take 50 minutes only. For some, it may take 70 minutes also. But it will be generally counted as 1 hour. It is based, it's a unit of time where what is learned is counted to measure these 750 notional learning hours. And this semesters have been, this study is divided into a credit mode, and each credit has got a 30 hours with 1:2:3 hours of lecture, practical training, and experiential learning. So therefore, a 30-hour one credit has got 5 hours of lecture, 10 hours of practical training, and 15 hours of experiential learning, of which 13 will be the experiential learning and 2 hours will be taken for a modular assessment. Now, therefore, each semester has got 25 credits. Now, what is that which is there in the first semester? When you look into the first semester, it has got 3 credits, 90 hours of samskara, the transition, and there is, at the end of that 90 hours of transition, there is specialty specific orientation, which amounts for 1 credit, which is about 30 hours of training again. So effectively 120 hours is given for transition curriculum. And then you have research methods, which is coming as 8 credits, which carries 240 hours of learning. Then you have biostatistics, which has got 9 credits, which has got 270 hours. Then we have 2 type of electives. One is known as domain specific electives, which are having 2 credits. And there is a capacity enhancing elective, which also carries 2 credits, which are got 60 hours of learning each. Remember, a PG student, before completing his post-graduation, should have completed 1 elective of domain specific, 1 elective of capacity enhancing elective per semester. So there are 6 semesters. He has to undergo 12 elective training, 6 domain specific, and 6 capacity enhancing. And there is another aspect that you should know. Unlike the undergraduate education, where the electives are conducted after the learning hours, after the college timetable, these electives at the PG level have to be incorporated in the timetable itself. That's why the timetable is dynamic. So they have to be incorporated in the during the student stay in the college itself, and therefore the semester 2 to 6 is having 2 credits for dissertation or synopsis related activities, and there are 16 credits, that is 480 hours of learning of core subject modules. So if you look into any of the syllabus and count the credits irrespective of number of modules, they are coming to be 480 hours. So 480 hours of learning will occur, and for each semester there are again 2 credits for domain specific elective and 2 credits for capacity enhancing elective. So with this knowledge, when we look into the program learning outcomes. Now, all of you who are actively teaching, you might have gone through the curriculum and seen the course learning outcomes. And in that table, you would have seen something called as PO also. But where are the POs? The POs are there documented in the very initial stages. I could connect because I was a member of that syllabus framing coordination committee, where I used to have first-hand information of what all is happening with the curriculum committees. So there are 8 program learning outcomes that have been listed, which I am going to present before you. Program learning outcome is a broad statement describing what a learner is expected to know, be able to do, and value by the time they successfully complete an entire academic program. Now here the program is MD Ayurveda, the program is MS Ayurveda, and remember here the course and the program, unlike the undergraduate education, are almost the same. What's the similarity? We'll come to it soon. Now, as I said, there are 8 program learning outcomes. And for the sake of understanding, I myself have given certain heading for them. PO1 and PO2. Now, at the end of the program, students should be able to the PO1 is demonstrate proficiency in academic, experiential, practical, clinical decision making based on acquired knowledge in the chosen specialty of Ayurveda, adhering to relevant regulatory frameworks. If he is belonging to Kaumara Bhritya, he should have academic, practical, and as well as clinical decision making. If he is belong to Dravya Guna, maybe certain aspect would be added extra here. So basically, he should have a thorough knowledge about the core subjects, what the core subjects are dealing with. That's what is the PO1 is talking about. PO2 talks about the skill. Now, procedural skill, it says that at the end of the program, student should be able to perform specialty specific procedures. If he is a student of Shalya, he should perform various listed surgeries. If he is a clinical student, he should be able to bring a proper diagnosis and apply the principles of treatment and give a robust clinical cure. And if it is related to research, he should develop the research proposals, etc., in a more better way. So perform specialty specific procedures and therapeutic maneuvers with skill and dexterity, dakshata, what we generally call, adhering to legal, safety, and regulatory standards. So we cannot bypass at any point of time the law of the land. So we have to work under the regulatory standards. Okay, the program learning outcome 3, 4, 5, I have titled them as integration, ethics, and research because they touch those aspects. PO3 states that a student should be able to demonstrate integration of Ayurvedic knowledge with scientific advances, ensuring a precise and holistic preventive and therapeutic approach to the patient care. So he should, the knowledge of integration need not be an integration of Ayurveda with the modern medical science. It can be integration amongst our own different branches of Ayurveda itself. The next one is related to ethics. PO4 talks about demonstrate agility, virtuous and ethical behavior, and compassion to improve the well-being of individuals and society. Now, one of the hallmark of any medical profession is empathy. He should be compassionate. We know the fact that Maitri, Karunyam, Arteshu, Shakke, Preeti, Prakritistheshu, Bhuteshu, Upekshanam have been listed as Vaidya Vritti as per Charaka Samhita. So therefore, ethics plays an important role. Now, program outcome 5 says that he should perform research by classical methods and scientific advances adhering to national, international regulations and guidelines. Right. One of the core competency, core outcome that we expect in our student by the end of post-graduation is any topic that is thrown to them, they should do a proper research on that. To that level, we expect them to be competent. So program learning outcome 6 talks about leadership, 7 talks about learning, and 8 talks about the cultural sensitivity, that is the global aspect, globalization or the global vision, what we generally call. So program outcome 6 says the student should be able to demonstrate leadership qualities and effective communication skills when engaging with students, patients, families, and peers, because communication is the key. Communication is one of the key healer also as far as the medical profession is concerned. We have to talk with the students, we have to talk with the patients come with their families, and we have to talk a lot of talking has to happen with our own colleagues, our own co-learners, etc. So communication is one of the important outcome. Now the learning doesn't end at the end of these 3 years, right? It is a lifelong learning that we should be aware of, and therefore we should be in a position to continuously upskill us, update ourselves, then attend the CMEs, the training programs. So therefore, PO7 talks about a student should exhibit self-directed learning by continuously advancing knowledge and skills in specialty area. And PO8 talks about a student should practice and promote Ayurveda with a cultural sensitivity, technological agility, contributing to the global recognition and integration of Ayurveda in healthcare systems. So this is one wish that we want to see, that we should integrate ourselves into the mainstream health care systems of the country. That is our first priority before we go to have a global recognition also. So these are the 8 program learning outcomes that each of our postgraduate student we want to achieve. Now, how does he achieve this? He achieves this by thoroughly learning and going through the curriculum that has been provided. And the curriculum comes with the course learning outcomes. Now, when you look into the UG syllabus, the course and the program are largely 2 different things. For example, I teach subject of Padartha Vijnana, and my Padartha Vijnana subject becomes a course. But the program is BAMS. At the undergraduate level, each subject are becoming courses, whereas the whole program is the graduation of Ayurveda. Whereas in case of post-graduation, that is slightly different. The course learning outcomes are specific to speciality of the post-graduation. For example, if it is a Kaya Chikitsa, we have specific course learning outcomes for Kaya Chikitsa. If it is Shalya Tantra, we have specific course learning outcome for Shalya Tantra. So irrespective of these course learnings, we have already learned there are 8 listed program learning outcomes. So the course learning outcomes is an explicit statement of the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and competencies learners are expected to demonstrate upon successful completion of a course. Course is nothing other than 5-semester course of the required specialty, because one semester we have entirely kept dedicated to research methods and biostatistics. Now, the course learning outcomes are generally, these are the characters that a specific objective will have, which are SMART criteria that we generally say: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound. If you look into any of the course learning outcome listed in table 1 of your curriculum, you will appreciate that all of them fairly comply with the SMART guidelines. Now, examples of course learning outcomes, just have to have a glance. For example, in case of Samhita Siddhanta, evaluate the evolution and development of Ayurveda from pre-Vedic period to the Brihatrayi, including contributions from medieval and contemporary Ayurvedic medicine is a course learning outcomes. And like that, we have I have listed one here from Shalya Tantra, one here from Panchakarma. So the course learning outcomes, as previous speaker has mentioned, are available in your curriculum book in table number 1. So these are some more examples. Lastly is, okay, this is an interesting one. Integrate artificial intelligence, digital health, and modern advances in Roga Nidhana. This is a course learning outcome listed in Roga Nidhana Vikriti Vijnana PG curriculum. And for Kaya Chikitsa, you will find demonstrate leadership, empathy, compassion, and communicate effectively with patients, caretakers, and other stakeholders. So like that, around 8 to 9 course learning objectives have been listed in each 18 PG specialities. And this is how the course learning outcomes and program outcomes are mapped. This we call as COPO mapping. This is what we generally call as the 3rd segment of my presentation, which is curriculum mapping, right? So in Shalya Tantra, the first course learning outcome says illustrate and apply the core principles of Shalya Tantra, integrating insights from recent developments in the field to enhance surgical practice. Now, this is connected to program outcome 1. And program outcome 1, we have already mentioned that, which talked about demonstrate proficiency in academic, experimental, practical, clinical decision-making based on acquired knowledge in the chosen specialty of Ayurveda, adhering to relevant regulatory frameworks. Now, this may sound slightly, because I am not sure all of you have come across with the program learning outcomes. I also would make a reference that when the undergraduate curriculum was brought, there were user manual how to read the curriculum. A manual was prepared and published, which which the board may publish soon for PG curriculum also, in which that document will have the program learning outcomes also. For example, the second example here is the Manasa Roga course learning outcome 7 says, develop efficient standalone Ayurveda and integrated treatment plan for psychological and psychosomatic disorders through pharmacological and non-pharmacological approaches adhering to legal, safety, and regulatory standards. This course learning outcome is directly mapped to program learning outcome 2nd and 3rd. Like that, you have COPO mapping done, and COPO mapping for Roganidana has been shown on screen as an example for Kaya Chikitsa. Okay, one course learning outcome may be mapped to only one program learning outcome, or it may be mapped to more than one also. So this is how the COPO mapping is done. And to implement this, there has to be a thorough linkages. The alignment has to be understood by each teacher. Now we have program learning outcomes. Based on the program learning outcomes, course learning outcomes have been framed, right? We want to have a certain outcome for each PG student, irrespective of their specialization. So that became program learning outcome. That became a base for creating course learning outcome for each of those PG specialty subjects. Now that course learning outcome will be achieved through various modules and units, right? There are modules. So PG curriculum is coming with certain modules, and those modules are divided into certain units, and each of those unit will have a specific learning objectives. These three things we should know. There are modules. After that, there are units, and for each unit, there are list of learning objectives. Now, all of these are developed keeping in view that we achieve the course learning outcomes. So there are modules, units, and learning objectives. All of these are present in table 3 of your curriculum, which we'll look in our next slide also, right? To have a proper achievement of course learning outcomes, to have a proper implementation of module learning outcomes as well as the specific learning outcomes, there are teaching learning methods that have been emphasized. Whether the teaching learning method is properly done, whether the course learning outcome have been performed or attained or not, to see there are assessment methods. Now, the assessment itself is a word which says that it is a progressive one, right? Evaluation usually occurs at the end of learning, whereas assessment is to help student learn more. So the assessment methods are there, which say that the course learning outcome has been achieved. The moment we deem that the course learning outcome has been achieved, we assume that the program learning outcomes are also achieved. So this is how the various components of the curriculum are aligned. And as I was mentioning, we'll just look at this table 3. I have brought it as a screenshot from Manasa Roga and Manovijnana curriculum, which 3A talks about course outcome, and course outcome are CO1 that you can see with the help of an arrow. CO1 is connected to this. It all, see, reading table 3 should ideally start from 3B. 3B is a specific learning objective. Now, what it says, at the end of this lecture or practical training or experiential learning session, the student should be able to, now come down, evaluate the significant contribution of Darshana Shastra to the field of Manovijnana. This is a learning objective. Now, this learning objective is connected to course learning outcome 1. This learning objective is taking 10 notional learning hours, which is listed in 3C. This learning objective belongs to practical training domain, because we have mentioned lecture hours, practical training and experiential learning in 1:2:3 ratio. And therefore, this is basically a 5 practical session. Now, what the practical session should be conducted is there available again in the booklet, which is listed as 1.1, and it belongs to the cognitive domain. And the level here expected as per the Miller's pyramid is knows how. Knowing is not enough. Knows how is also expected. Now, for this, what should be the teaching learning methods that a teacher should involve? It is listed as BS. BS stands for brainstorming. It is discussion. Then it is also listed as problem-based learning. It is this ELS stands for now, ironically, for all these, it is all these, the glossary or the technical term list has been provided at the end of the curriculum. Please have a glance at those, right? It can be lecture, it can be lecture with PPT, it can be discussion, it can be the flipped classroom, it can be blended learning, it can be self-directed learning, it can be the library session. The LS there refers to the library session. So therefore, one should for all these short forms, you have to go to the last page of the curriculum book, which talks about the teaching learning method that need to be followed to achieve a particular specific learning objective. So this is how this curriculum is framed, and this is how these are connected, and this is what we call as curriculum mapping. Going further, now curriculum mapping is there in the curriculum. Course learning outcomes are there in the curriculum. The specific learning objectives are also there in the curriculum. Now, and there are modules, and there are module learning outcomes also there. But certainly, the competencies that we want to see in our student, that is a duty. Listing those competencies is a duty of each PG teacher or each PG department. Now, those who framed the curriculum, those who framed the minimum standards of regulation, gave us a broad understanding of list of competencies that they provided in the UG MES itself. Now, basing on that, it is the responsibility of you and me to frame the competencies required for my PG students, for my PG department. Now, on screen, you are seeing a statement. Now, this is coming from the CBME Medical Education PG regulations, where they specifically mention that keeping in view the general objectives of postgraduate training, each discipline shall aim at development of specific competencies which shall be defined and spelt out in clear terms. Each department shall produce a statement and bring it to the notice of trainees in the beginning of program so that he or she can direct the efforts towards attaining these competencies. Now, the moment a student comes to me, I should be in a position to give him a list of competencies that he has to achieve over a period of 3 years of time, right? So therefore, the next task for us is we need to prepare the competencies required for my subject. Now, therefore, what I'll be doing here is I'll be giving you guidelines, or rather I'll bring some important aspect of how to frame the competencies will be touched. And generally, when you look into the curriculum, this is the hierarchy. There are program outcomes which are connected to course learning outcomes. And these are connected to competency domain. Now, competency domain are otherwise also known as professional roles. What are the professional roles? I'll come in the next slide. Then we have competencies. These competencies have to be achieved. All the competencies are at the level of performance, and therefore it is an activity. So therefore, there is something called as entrustable professional activity that each PG student should perform, which, as I was mentioning, there is a dedicated session for this tomorrow. Then there are performance indicators and milestones, and there is an assessment. So this is the hierarchy and this is the connection as far as curriculum is concerned. So we will try to look how to frame competency, taking one or two examples, and that's how we'll be ending this presentation. Now the steps to frame competencies. Now first one is define role. Now what is the role? Clarify the professional position and responsibilities. Clearly tell the role. A postgraduate in Samhita Siddhanta should perform these many roles. If the roles are defined, then that's fine. That's the first step in framing the competencies. Then after defining the role, we need to study the curriculum. Now we need to study the curriculum, we need to review the courses, we need to learn the outcomes, we need to learn the specific learning objectives, all that has to be studied. Then after that, we will identify the task that a postgraduate should do to achieve the particular role. So list authentic professional tasks learner must perform and convert those tasks into competencies. I'll take examples so that it becomes sensible, meaningful to all of you. Now, step one, I'm taking an example with reference to MD Dravyaguna post-graduation. Now, first step is define the professional role. So MD, a postgraduate in Dravyaguna should function as, what are the role of postgraduation in Dravyaguna? He should be medicinal plant expert. He should, another role is Ayurvedic pharmacologist. He should be functioning as pharmacognosist. He should be a clinical consultant in drug selection. He should be a researcher, teacher, quality assurance expert, communicator, professional ethical practitioner. Keep aside the competencies or the roles that he has to achieve at the end. Last 5 can be kept aside. We'll take the first one, medicinal plant expert, and we'll say how this can be converted into a competency. The second one is study the curriculum. Now, review the program outcomes, review the course outcomes, then NCISM, OBDC syllabus, review classical Dravyaguna text, practical laboratory training that is given in the curriculum, HerbGuard posting that is given in the curriculum, research methodology and dissertation. Then, next step would be identify the real professional task, what he should do, what a specialist of Dravyaguna should do after the completion of the Dravyaguna post-graduation. For example, earlier it used to be he should know Dravyas. Knowing Guduchi, is it enough? No. A task can be he should authenticate Guduchi using botanical and pharmacognostic characters. Another task can be apply the principles of Rasapanchaka to select appropriate drugs for different clinical conditions. Or with reference to learning medicinal plants, his task can be identify, classify, cultivate, and conserve medicinal plants of therapeutic importance. Now, these are the tasks that a Dravyaguna postgraduate should do at the end of his postgraduation, and which are connected to his role as a medicinal plant expert. Now, with these tasks, it becomes my role to convert this into a competency. Competency is a sentence where we have an action verb, we have an object, we have a standard, and we have a context. Example, he should, one of the competency of Dravyaguna scholar should be independently identify, authenticate, and evaluate medicinal plants and crude drugs using classical Ayurvedic principles, botanical taxonomy, and pharmacognostic therapeutics techniques, where independently identify is a context, authenticate and evaluate are action verbs, medicinal plants and crude drugs are objects, and classical Ayurvedic principles, botanical taxonomy, and pharmacognostic techniques become the standards. Likewise, another example can be select and justify appropriate Ayurvedic drugs and formulations for disease management based on Rasapanchaka, Dosha involvement, and available scientific evidences. And the color code indicate that they are the context, the action verb, the object, and the standard. This is how the competencies have to be framed by each PG department. Competency list has to be prepared well in advance before the beginning of the PG curriculum itself. This is how the competencies are framed. Now, this is another example. Because of want of time, I'll skip them and bring to another important aspect before concluding this presentation, and we call it as milestone. To achieve any competency, a beginner is generally called as a novice who doesn't know anything, right? So who doesn't know anything, who has no professional experience. That's how it all starts. Usually when a student he is in his second semester, when he comes to a particular specialty of PG. Now, ironically, since this is a PG curriculum, one should understand that none of them are novice. They are at the level of beginner. Can note recurrent meaningful situations, components. They are beginner. They know how to do it, but they're not expert. Now, by continuously performing a specific task over a period of time, they become competent, right? They become competent, where we can say that they can do it independently also. And after the competency, over a period of time, performing the same task repeatedly, they will become proficient. And the proficiency is what makes them really contributing to the society. And when they enter into the society, when they continue to pursue the same tasks continuously, they will become an expert. This is a milestone that each PG student has to pass with reference to each of the competencies. And as a PG teacher, it's our duty to bring it at least to the level of proficiency before they conclude their curriculum of 3 years. So with these points, these are some more competencies list I have provided. So with these points, what we have done in this presentation is we learnt about what is a competency and how they are framed. They have to be framed by each PG teacher or PG department before itself. And we also learned what are the course learning outcomes and the program learning outcomes, how they are mapped. And we also learned about curriculum mapping, particularly with reference to table 3 of the curriculum. So I stop talking at this point of time. I again thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I hope it was a meaningful session for all of you. If there are any questions, I'm here to take the questions.
Thank you, respected Anand sir. You have elaborately explained about the competencies and the outcomes and the curriculum mapping, different types of competencies, how they are applied in the post-graduation level, what are the POs, what are the course learning outcome, ultimately how the proficiency is attained with excellent and relevant examples. I think it was a more informative and effective session. Thank you, and all. And thank you, Anand Katti sir, for a wonderful session. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Madam, Hema madam, shall we go for next session?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now it's a time to go for the third session and the last session by Dr. Narendra Singh sir with the title of Innovative Teaching Learning Methods for OBDC. I welcome Dr. Narendra Singh sir from NIA Jaipur, Associate Professor from NIA Jaipur. I request Dr. Anita madam to briefly introduce Dr. Narendra Singh sir. Thank you.
Okay,
Over to you,
thank
madam.
you, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Narendra Singh, sir, is a professor in the PG Department of Shalyatantra at the National Institute of Ayurveda, Jaipur. Sir holds an MS and PhD in Shalyatantra, specializing in Aghat Evam Asti Sandhi Roga Chikitsa. Dr. Narendra Singh, sir, is currently in his 23rd year of teaching and field experience. His academic contributions include guiding more than 50 PG research works, publishing various research papers, and managing different research projects. Sir has participated in over more than 100 seminars, conferences, medical camps, and training workshops. Sir holds several administrative roles, including Joint Register Academic, Primary Emergency Care Unit, and Chairperson of the Minority Cell. Sir is also recipient of the Jewel of Rajasthan Award. I welcome you, sir, for today's event. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Once again, I welcome Dr. Narendra Singh, sir, for the session. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Namaskar and regards to one and all, sir. Can I share my screen or PPT will be shared by yourself, sir?
Yeah, sir, you can share.
Okay, you are sharing, na? So by the time the organizers are sharing my presentation, I would like to extend my warm greetings to all the distinguished dignitaries, esteemed faculty members, resource persons, and participants. It is truthfully a privilege to be a part of this faculty development program, which reflect our shared commitment to enhance the academic excellence, innovation, and the continuous professional growth in the sphere of Ayurveda. We sincerely express our gratitude as an institute to the organizer for the board of Ayurveda NCSM for their visionary leadership and the dedicated efforts in conceptualizing and conducting this FDP program. The commitment of NCISM is to strengthen faculty competency and enhance the quality of the Ayurveda education, and is truly a commendable effort. A special welcome to all the PhD scholars and the PG resident participating from the institutions across India. The presence of my dear PhD scholars and the PG resident reflect a commendable commitment to academic excellence and the future of the Ayurveda education. I hope this program serves as a valuable platform for the learning, collaboration, and the professional growth. Before the organizer share my PPT, before I
Sir.
begin,
Sorry
I
for
would like-
interruption, Narendra sir. You only share, sir, this PPT, sir, please. Yeah.
Okay, I need to share, sir.
Please.
I'm sharing, sir. So before I begin, I would like to emphasize that I'm not here to teach this distinguished August gathering of learned faculty members and the future generation of the Ayurveda educators. Rather, this session is intended to serve as a platform for discussion, interaction, and a collective refreshing of our understanding of effective teaching methodologies. The theme for the today's presentation is innovative teaching learning methods in alignment with the outcome-based dynamic curriculum is both timely and relevant. As Ayurveda education continue to evolve, it is essential that our teaching practices in alignment with OBDC, fostering learner-centered, competency-driven, and innovative approaches that enhance the student engagement and the achievement. I look forward to a meaningful exchange of ideas, experiences, and the best practices that will inspire us to further strengthen the quality of the Ayurveda education together. So, I will be starting with my presentation. Sir, am I visible? And my
No, sir,
PPT
not,
is
sir.
visible to all of you?
PPT is not visible, sir.
Okay, sir. Let me see, sir.
Yeah.
Share. Sir, is it visible now, sir?
Ah, sir. Yeah, sir. Now it is visible. Visible, sir, now.
Okay, sir. Basically, the sessions objectives are to understand innovative teaching learning methods aligned with OBDC and to identify appropriate learner-centric pedagogical approaches for achieving course outcomes. Third, plan and design an effective teaching learning session using a selected innovative teaching learning method, sir, and integrate our routine teaching with the outcome-based and competency-driven strategies into the classroom practice, sir. In the beginning, we just need to
Sir, again,
see.
sir, Narendra, sir, sorry. Again, not visible. The slide is not visible now.
Arjun Kutwa. Sir, is it visible now, sir?
No, sir. No, sir. Not yet.
So just give me a minute. PPT is not visible here. Contents. So is it visible now, sir?
No, sir. Not yet, sir.
Okay, sir. इसको stop कर. यहाँ से इसको बंद करके फिर से अपने डेस्कटॉप पे जाओ. Right, one second. Is it visible now, sir?
Now it is
Sir.
visible, sir. Now it is visible.
Sir, just see, sir. Now,
Just move the slides, sir. Just move the slides.
but for moving this slide, we
Yes, sir. Now it is yes, yes, yes. Make it full screen, sir. Full
Huh.
screen.
take it full screen, sir. Sir, now it is moving, sir.
No, not visible, sir. Again.
सर जैसे ही हम लोग इसको फुल स्क्रीन कर रहे हैं ना तो इशू आ रहा है.
ठीक है, ऐसा ही कीजिए. No problem.
हाँ, विदाउट.
Let it be. Let it be.
हाँ, now it is visible, sir.
No. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, basically the basic requirement to shift to the OBDC. The basic difference in between the traditional curriculum and the dynamic curriculum is already explained by the previous presenters in a very extended manner, sir. Because this because the traditional curriculum are content driven, while the dynamic curriculum are outcome driven. The traditional curriculum are teacher centered, examination focused, and having a fixed curricula. On the contrary, the dynamic curriculum is learner centered, competency focused, flexible and demand oriented, and a continuous improvement requiring domains. These are the list of the common challenges and the practical solutions. The challenge are the student engagement, outcome mapping, assessment, technology adoption, and the industry relevance. And the required strategies that are required to be considered and undertaken is to basically have a approach and face it having active learning principle, a curriculum alignment with OBDC, proper incorporation of the tools like rubrics, definitely requiring time to time faculty training and orientation to the digital pedagogical tools, and also a collaboration of the teaching with the AI, sir. Now, just moving ahead, we all know that this is a very good example given by the National Training Laboratories, Bethel. And this learning pyramid shows that while considering the average student retention rate in concern to the routine teaching and the training, 90% retention rate is there when we are indulging in the principle of peer teaching, that is teaching others, and while it drops and declines to 10% when we just using the traditional curricular measure, that is basically the reading, which is enhancing to only 20% when we are using the audio visual tools. Now, just it is very important to have a glimpse of principle of the adult learning. Principle of adult learning includes basically the fundamental of the active learning. The teaching and the training must be problem centric. The teaching and training must be improving every time, incorporating the previous experiences of the teacher or the clinical scenarios attended or being faced by the students. The contents must be very much relevant. Of course, there must be a very strong emotional connection in between the students and the teachers. Yes, it is very important to inculcate the quality of the self-learning among the student, and a alignment with the curricular outcome and the learning outcome must be there in line with the ABDC. And lastly, the learning should always be a fun for a student. It never should be a burden for the student. Now, understanding the faculty role and the responsibility in the OBDC. Instead of being only a source of knowledge delivery, the faculty need to act as a facilitator, a mentor, a coach, a innovator, a research guide, and also a learning designer, basically guiding students.
Excuse me, sir. Screen is not
Yeah.
visible, sir. Again, screen is not visible, sir.
Sir, can you share it at your end, sir, if we are facing problem? Because I have shared it to in a group, sir.
We'll try, sir. We'll try once.
Okay, sir. So shall I continue or shall I need to wait? दोबारा से कर रहा है? हाँ सुमित बोल. नहीं कोई नहीं, अब कर दिया. हाँ हो गई ना. So now, is it visible to you, sir, or not?
Visible, sir.
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
It is visible, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
sir. Yeah,
sir,
sir.
sir.
Yes.
So basically, okay. So, sir, we are again continuing with the understanding the faculty role and the responsibility of the OBDC. Basically, in OBDC, the teacher need to act as a facilitator, mentor, coach, innovator, research guide, and learning designer, guiding student toward achievement of clearly defined learning outcomes and competencies of OBDC. This shift promotes student-centered, active, and experiential learning. Now, to achieve this goal, faculty should be very well acquainted with the digital pedagogies to use the educational technology effectively, encouraging active learning and keep students engaged in the online and the blended classes, sir. Now, what is basically the digital pedagogy? Digital pedagogies are basically teaching and the learning approaches that intentionally use the digital technologies to improve student learning, engagement, assessment, collaboration, and achievement of the learning outcomes, sir. It is in an OBDC, digital pedagogies support the achievement of clearly defined learning outcomes by enabling the personalized learning, continuous assessment, timely feedback, and evidence-based competency development. Now, this is basically a list of the digital pedagogies with which I request we need to be acquainted in achieving the goal of effective implementation and execution of the outcome-based digital curriculum given by the NCISM, sir. We are basically having in place the learning management system, the massive open online courses, the virtual labs, the AI tools, the learning analytics, the simulation softwares, the interactive pools, and also the digital whiteboards, sir. Now coming over to the main theme, that is innovative teaching and learning methods. My fellow presenters respected Dr. Suresh ji and the second speaker also discussed about the various methods like the flipped classroom to the digital learning in a presentation during their oration, sir. Coming one by one, the flipped classroom, in this flipped classroom, usually we basically uh, persuade the students to study the core concept before the class, taking various tools like the videos, some reading materials, and the classroom time is devoted to the clinical reasoning, skill demonstration, and the patient management. This approach ensures active learning and achievement of the defined competency. We may be in position to have a better understanding by going through the examples that a student from Shalya Tantra review the management of the acute appendicitis before the class in particular, and then participate in the clinical discussions and the abdominal examination and the demonstrations. In his theory class, he may be asking some queries in regard to some particular set of the examination, say the rebound tenderness, the psoas test, the obturator, internal rotation, implication test. A pediatric student learn neonatal resuscitation protocol before his simulation sessions with the simulation lab, while the students from the OBG review the stages of the labor before labor room demonstrations. Sir. In the problem-based learning tool, this particular method presents student with the real clinical problem that require integration of the basic science and the clinical knowledge to achieve the competency-based outcomes. Again, the examples are the surgery student may develop a management plan for the intestinal obstruction. Medicine student evaluate a patient with a fever of the unknown origin under the diagnosis of the PUO. The pediatric student investigate the causes of the failure to thrive, the initial resuscitation, and the OBG students formulate a management plan for the severe scenario of the pre-eclampsia. Under the project-based learning, this particular method enables students to apply the clinical knowledge through research audits, community health projects aligned with the program outcomes. For example, the surgery student conduct a surgical site infection audit. If a case which is basically operated 2-3 days prior in your institution is presented with the case of a seroma or a seropurulent or a serosanguinous discharge from the incision site, then the student must be encouraged to go through the audit to basically see the reason of this SSI. The medicine student may carry out a hypertension awareness project. The pediatric student may assess the childhood immunization coverage in the community, while the gynae student undertake a project on antenatal anemia screening and prevention. The case-based learning method basically uses authentic patient cases to strengthen clinical reasoning and the decision making while achieving the expected learning outcomes. Students analyze patient history, examination findings, investigations, and the treatment options. Again, we may be having the examples in the form of the Shalya Tantra. The students from the Shalya Tantra basically may discuss the various management principles in context to the surgical intervention required for the cases like the breast CA. The students from the Kaya Chikitsa may analyze a case of the diabetic ketoacidosis. The student from Bal Rog may evaluate a child with the acute asthma, and the students from the gynae may discuss about the management of the ectopic pregnancy presented in the OP or in the emergency in the scenario of the ectopic pregnancy. In the inquiry-based learning method, the students are basically encouraged to ask the clinical questions, search scientific evidences, and apply findings to the patient care. This particular method promotes the lifelong learning and the evidence-based practices. Under this, we may be having some examples like the students from the Shalya Tantra, basically investigating the best wound dressing technique in a scenarios like the trophic ulcer, in scenarios like students compare the treatment options of the chronic renal diseases. The pediatric students may explore the causes of the recurrent respiratory tract infections encountered in their OPDs or the indoor wings. And the students from the SRPT may examine current evidence on the prevention of the PPH. Moving ahead towards the collaborative learning, this method promotes a teamwork by engaging the students in group discussions, multidisciplinary case management, and a clinical simulations to achieve the shared learning outcome. Say, the students jointly discuss the management of a pregnant women with diabetes and hypertension with each discipline. That is the discipline of the SRPT, the students from Kachikitsa, contributing to the patient assessment and the treatment planning. Students from the surgery, medicine, and the emergency medicine and the other branches may collaborate in managing a role, assigning roles such as airway management, resuscitation, imaging, and the surgical interventions. Under the heading of the peer learning, the students are persuaded to reinforce knowledge and clinical skills by teaching and learning from each other. It enhances communications, it inculcates the leadership qualities among the student, and basically it is a very good practice under the reflective practices. Example, the senior surgery student demonstrate the suturing techniques to the junior students in their basic simulation labs or in a real case scenarios. Secondly, the medicine students conduct ECG interpretation sessions with the peers. The pediatric students practice growth assessment together, and the students from the SRPT demonstrate partograph, its interpretation, and the antenatal examination skill. This is truthfully a very effective tool, and this particular tool, the gamification, incorporate the educational games, the quizzes, the simulation challenges, the badges, and to improve the engagement and the reinforcement competency attainment. Under this, a department may basically plan a imaging challenge in which the student compete with one another to interpret the basic and the major findings of the ECGs, the major findings with the chest x-rays, the CT plates, the USG images, the MRI finding, but within a specified time. Whosoever is completing his task in basically earliest may be designated as a leaderboard or may be provided with a particular badge in this concern. Similarly, the students may be engaged in identifying the most appropriate drug dosage, contraindication, and the adverse effects for the various patient scenarios, reinforcing the rational prescribing. Under the emergency response challenge, the student compete in simulated emergency scenarios such as trauma, septic shock, cardiac arrest, PPH, the neonatal resuscitation, with the scores based on adherence to the clinical protocols and the teamwork. Lastly, under the heading of the virtual patient challenges, the student diagnose and manage simulated virtual patient, earning badges for accurate clinical reasoning, appropriate investigations, and evidence-based treatment. Under this particular, the list may be basically a endless list, sir. Under the next blended learning method, this method basically combines classroom teaching, bedside training simulation, and online learning resources to provide flexible and comprehensive competency-based education. Under this, the surgery student attend operative demonstrations and complete online procedural videos. Medicine student may participate in bedside clinics supplemented by virtual discussions. Pediatric students combine classroom teaching with online neonatal simulations, and students from SRPT department may integrate labor room postings with learning module on the fetal monitoring. Under the domain of the digital learning, the student may be encouraged to learning management system, virtual patient simulation software, mobile applications, etc. Under these examples, we may be having a very good examples from surgery student practicing the laparoscopic procedures using the virtual simulators, medicine student using digital clinical case platform for diagnosis, pediatric students perform virtual neonatal resuscitations, and students from SRPT may use the electronic partograph. Now coming over to the very important domain, that is the experiential learning activities. And under these experiential learning activities, we may basically incorporate our students with the field visit, the internships, the live projects, the community engagements, laboratory practices, simulations. But all these must be time bound and having a very effectively planned collaborative problem solving events where the students may be getting a chance to work in a team to develop innovative solutions to a real world clinical, public health, and the healthcare system challenges. And these are better known as the term hackathons these days. Example is, say, we may basically form a team of the students to design interventions to improve the vaccination rates, maternal health, nutrition, or the disease surveillance using a community-based SMS reminder system to improve the childhood immunization adherence. We may be incorporating the domain of the industrial interaction, particularly in the subjects like Rashashtra, Bhishajya Kalpana, and the Dravyagun. We may also be arranging the symposia time to time because these forums provide a platform to the student to interact with the experts, to discuss and share their insights on a specific topic. Now coming over to the assessment tools for OBDC. Assessment tools should measure the knowledge, skills, competency, professional behavior using the methods like the rubrics, the student's portfolio, the vivas, the projects, the peer assessment, the self-assessment, and the practical demonstrations. Best practices for the faculty in OBDC to enhance the teaching effectiveness. As we all know, these digital pedagogies, but incorporating the fundamentals like active learning and the outcome mapping, analyzing the student portfolio and the reflective learning basically enhance our skill in context to enhance the teaching effectiveness. This should also include a continuous revision and the updation of the course outcome. These must be aligned with the teaching learning activities, incorporating the active learning strategies, integrating the digital tools and technologies, developing and using the structured assessment rubrics that clearly define criteria and level of the student's performance for the fair, transparent, and the objective evaluation. We also need to take care of the implementation of the system for continuous feedback collection from the students and the peers to improve teaching quality and the curriculum effectiveness. Now coming over to the take home message. All of us must need to align our teaching method with the OBDC, adopt a learner-centric and outcome-oriented pedagogical approach, choose an appropriate teaching learning method that support course outcome. We need to plan an innovative learning experience to foster the engagement and the critical thinking. We need to continuously reflect, adapt, and innovate in our teaching practices, making every classroom an opportunity for meaningful and measurable learning. Now we may be starting with the questions and the discussions and the inputs from all the learned, my fellow speakers, the authorities from the BOA, and the participants in today's session with the quote that teaching is no longer about delivering a content. It's all about designing meaningful learning experience that enable learner to demonstrate competencies, solve authentic problem, and achieve the measurable outcomes. Here I would like to quote a very famous Benjamin Franklin that tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. Together, let us ignite learning through innovation, outcomes, and competency. So, this is all about from my side. We may be opening this session for the queries or the discussions required, sir. Thank you, one and all.
I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Narendra Singh sir for really innovative teaching learning methods for OBDC has highlighted most of the things with the practical orientation. I thank Dr. Narendra Singh sir for this. And also I thank all the resource persons, Dr. C. Suresh Kumar sir and Dr. Anand Katti sir for a wonderful knowledge what they have shared. And also I thank the BOA President Dr. Allam Prabhu Gudda sir, in his directions we have done it. And also I thank NCISM Chairman Dr. Manisha Kotekar Madam for her guidance, and also Marbism President Dr. Mukul Patel sir. And I thank the team behind this, Dr. Hema Madam, Dr. Atul sir, Dr. Kamalesh sir, and Dr. Divedi sir, and all the faculties who have dedicatedly listening this the orientation program Pragati. And also I thank Dr. Anita Madam, moderator, and all my colleague coordinator Dr. Kiran Tavlare sir and Dr. Parmeshwarappa Badgi sir. And tomorrow again we'll have a 3 resource persons. Like first one is Dr. Shiv Kumar Harti. He will be giving a knowledge about the strategies for effective implementation of practical training and experiential learning. Dr. Shiv Kumar Harti, professor from AIYA, Delhi. And second session by Dr. Ritesh Gujarati, professor and head, GJ Patel Institute of Ayurvedic College, Gujarat. He will be dealing entrustable professional activities and workplace-based learning. And third speaker will be Dr. Pranita Joshi Madam, professor and head, Department of Kriya Sharira, Maharashtra. And she will be dealing integrating research competencies into a OBDC. And tomorrow we have 3 resource person. Like that, the third day also will have a 3 resource person. I thank all. If any queries, I request to the audience, please raise the hand and we will try to request our resource person to answer those things. Thank you. So by going through the chat box, I think we have not received any queries. I hope all the respected faculties got excellent information by the excellent resource for persons with the relevant examples and the present thing. I thank once again all the resource person and all the faculty members. And if no queries, we'll end the session today with the due permission of Dr. Hema, Madam.
Sir,
There were no questions in the chat box, madam. Shall we wind up the today's session?
yes, sir.
Yeah,
We-
any information you want to give for tomorrow, this one, madam?
No, sir, as such.
Tomorrow, Dr. Kiran Tavlare will be there and Dr. Pradeep Kumar Moharana will be there as a moderator and Kiran Tavlare as a coordinator they will be doing. After once the Hema madam will introduce the about this event, then we'll, as usual the 2 to 5 session will be there. Once again, I thank all the office bearers of the NCISM and all the faculty members and all the respected resource person, coordinators and the moderator. Thank you one and all. Namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste.